Welcome back to Upfront. And this question, will he or won't he? Madison real estate developer Eric Hovde has been mulling a bid for U.S. Senate for months. Hovde, a Republican, ran in the U.S. Senate primary in 2012 and narrowly lost the nomination to former Governor Tommy Thompson, who went on to lose to Democrat Tammy Baldwin in the general election. The current Republican field for U.S. Senate is State Senator Leah Vukmir of Brookfield and Delafield businessman Kevin Nicholson. So why is Hovde taking so much time to decide? We're asking our editorial partner, Jeff Mayers, president of WisPolitics.com. Jeff, thanks for being with us today.
Happy to do it, Ken.
Let's start with the will he or won't he question. Is Eric Hovde going to run?
Well, he's certainly making the moves to run. Will he or won't he? I think there's some decision-making to be involved in terms of what the climate is. Could he win a primary? I think a lot of people who say he's getting in say he could win this primary because Leah Vukmir and Kevin Nicholson are not that well known, and their polling numbers aren't that great. And he could come in with a lot of money with a different, with the experience of running before. But could he beat Tammy Baldwin in a Democratic year if a Democratic year blooms? And I think that maybe that part of the decision hasn't been made yet. But the opinions among whether will he or won't he among the operative community are divided because I think. Part of it is resting on this state Supreme Court race. How will that turn out? Not sure yet.
That's the advantage of waiting, perhaps, to kind of test the political waters a bit?
Well, yes, but he also has a personal wealth, so he can afford to wait. Remember, Ron Johnson came in late in 2010 and ended up winning it all. So, I think that could be the pattern that Hovde is contemplating.
Let's talk about the race as it's playing right now. Leah Vukmir, Kevin Nicholson. We've seen money already being spent in this campaign. We've seen some attacks, if you want to call them that, on both sides. How is this race going to play out?
Well, Hovde would scramble, the primary race. Kevin Nicholson and Leah Vukmir both have big money on their side, but the money has been spent so far for Kevin Nicholson by the PAC backing Kevin Nicholson. And so, his name idea and in some polling of primary voters only, so the margin of error is high, shows him ahead. And that's largely a benefit of this advertising. But Leah Vukmir is more of a grassroots conservative, more well-known with that community. And, the Republican Party does endorsements at its convention, and she would certainly be the favorite to get that endorsement.
The political landscape, you talked about the question of how beatable is Tammy Baldwin in this election year. Democrats seeming to have a strong start out of the gate nationally. What are her vulnerabilities? Is she vulnerable in this election year?
Well, it's her first re-election, and that's always when you're most vulnerable. Her poll numbers aren't that great, but, there's been a lot of money, almost double the money spent pro-Baldwin, $8 million spent against her by various groups. So this is an important race nationally. Trump state Democrat, so she has a national target on her back. But, she's very usually underestimated as a campaigner, as a fundraiser. Republicans who know her are wary of her, say, she's always a strong candidate, and if this is a Democratic year, she'll be in good shape. So I think a lot of Republicans are wary of saying, oh, we can take her out and we can be a totally red state, although there are certainly national forces who would like to make that happen.
All right, real quickly, I want to touch on the race for governor. Still a full field of Democrats. Is anybody pulling away from the pack? Is anyone setting themselves apart?
No, not really. Here and there, Kelda Roys, had a video that, got her some attention. But, they're fighting for attention. They're fighting. So, they're all cast together. And I think that is problematic with an August primary coming up. So you're going to probably see some attacks amongst them as we get closer to that primary date.
All right. Jeff Mayers of WisPolitics.com. Thanks for your time.
Anytime, Kent.
Next on Upfront, a big new push in Wisconsin to register and turn out young voters.